So here I want to cover 24 things you should be doing at endgame in Throne and Liberty each day and every week. This is the full list and we'll run through it step by step. There are quite a few things you can skip over depending on the progress you are in the game and how much time you actually have. The first thing I would definitely recommend prioritizing is your co-op dungeons. These can allow you to take away significant rewards that you can then either turn into a lithograph, sell the trait, or use for yourself. However, you are limited at only 3 runs per day, as it costs you 300 of coins to open the chest, and you only get 900 per day. The next task would be resistance contracts. Simply go to a contract manager and claim your contracts that you want to do. You can check this video how to get through them super fast. Just claim one contract, refresh, and claim the next. Ideally going for any that give you precious blessing pouches. You get 10 contract rights per day, so again, ideally do them every day, but you can of course save them up and do a bunch on one day instead. Now while you are doing those contracts, you can do your mystic keys. You can get 5 per day. Pay attention to your minimap. When you see this mystic globe symbol, you can simply go to the location, interact with this kind of red orb, claiming it, and you get your rewards. And when you open 5 of them, a larger mystic portal can open for you with better rewards. From there, I highly recommend paying attention to the field bosses. These are a daily activity you want to check on your map just here, and they will occur every few hours. And you will have 5 of those events per day. You will want to go to that location at the allocated time. The actual fight will always happen at 5 minutes past the hour, but you need to get there before then to be able to actually enter. Once the boss appears, it's usually dead within a minute or two. Once you kill it, you will always get a participation reward and then a chance to get like a purple drop, which can be some very valuable gear. Depending on the guild you are in, that item may very likely just go to the guild bank, and then it's up to the guild how that is distributed. But that participation reward has a 0.3% chance to give you a selection chest with all of the best gear from that boss. So just partake in them every day and you will have the chance to take away some valuable rewards. So it's just 5 minutes of your time and try attend as many of those events as possible. If you're not into PvP, just go to the peaceful ones. Be aware though, the ones situated in dungeons can get turned into a PvP zone through the eclipse. So accessing the portals may not be so easy. From there, always make sure to do your merchant purchases. I covered in this video the exact list to go through every day and every week. For example, get those trade extract stones, get the blessing pouch, get the enchanted ink, get your daily cooking ingredients, and your limited time consumables and potentially resource packs. More details again in this specific video linked below. The next thing is Amitoi Expeditions. You will click your little Amitoi here, teleporting to your Amitoi house, and you'll interact with the expedition map. Now you'll claim your rewards if you've sent them out on an expedition, and that can include these expedition pouches, which have some pretty valuable rewards. We'll claim that. You ideally want to send out the maximum possible of Amitois to a certain location. It's not that important which location. I just prefer Daybreak Shore right now as I'm going for the fishing rod. Be aware the one specific reward here is Queen Belandir's soul fragments anywhere in Stoneguard. And anywhere in Lastland that will be Tevent's soul fragments, and those are for the current Archboss weapons. Ideally, you also use Amitois that have an extra gathering bonus with that up arrow in that area. We'll begin the expedition, and you ideally want to set them for every hour if you know you can come back and claim your rewards every hour. Otherwise, set it to a much longer time if that's what's needed for you to come back and actually claim the reward. These will give you, importantly, the abyssal contract tokens as well. You will get more tokens if you do it at a shorter time period and collect all the time. But if you're going to sleep, set it to 8 hours. The next task from there would be, say, the battle pass. Just keep an eye on it and make sure to just always claim those activity points in order to progress the battle pass. Claim your rewards. And once you finish the battle pass, all of those activity points will get turned into star crystals, allowing you to purchase even more of these valuable rewards. Also, make sure you're doing your guild donation. Ideally have joined the guild, and you simply go to the info tab here and you just donate all the time solent. If you have these other resources that your guild might need, they're going to thumbs up what they recommend you donate, and then donate that instead, again, if you have it. Also go to your rewards tab and claim any of these from the guild contracts that you might have got completed, or guild bosses, as we'll get into. You might want to consider partaking in those guild contracts. You can get extra rewards by getting certain amounts of participation, and ultimately it will help your guild grow, and it will help your guild get higher up on these rankings by giving it those activity points. To take it a step further, you can do dynamic events. Again, check your map here with the timetable, and these green icons are all activity events, and they all have different conditions, and generally the easiest one where you can get an absolute ton of points is going to be the Lantern Seed Festival. But be aware, some of them will give you like dash or glide morphs to help level that up. These events are every 3 hours, so you could partake in a lot of them, but they're mainly going to be for your activity points and your guild reputation for those ranking points. So if you're short on time, not a priority. Then every week, about twice, you will want to do your open world dungeons. Don't let your Abyss currency get to 20,000. Otherwise, you will just begin wasting those points. So what you need to do is go to one of your open world dungeons, Silas Abyss, Shadowed Crypt, Sanctum of Desire, or Saradoma Island. One of those 4 is usually the best, because you'll also have contracts there, which we'll get into. But simply killing enemies here will give you extra solent, extra XP, and ultimately higher chance at dropping good gear that they can give. But you want to combine this with your contract scrolls, which you'll obtain every week through this vendor, but also when opening these precious blessing pouches. You will double click them and they'll offer you a quest, and you'll want to generally claim ones that are simply just about killing enemies. Generally, I would skip the ones that show to do a boss, like the Berserker here in the Shadowed Crypt. I generally just skip them, but getting the Mana Flame Brazier can be fine. Sometimes getting those Abyssal Spectres is okay, although I did regret it here, so don't do that. And there are 4 different types of contracts for the different open world dungeons: Silas Abyss, Shadowed Crypt, Sanctum of Desire, and Saradoma Island. And that's why you will generally spend your contract tokens at the same time in those locations while doing those contract scrolls. After that, you could do your arena. You want to get wins. You get 10 victory points and you'll get 6 of these arena coins. Now, if you're not big into PvP, you kind of can skip this, but just getting 3 wins will help with, say, your weekly missions. But 10 wins gives you 6 of this currency, which you can spend to obtain a bracelet over time, or like 2 blessing pouches per week. From there, yes, keep an eye out on those weekly missions as we just mentioned. Try and get each of these activities done every week. You can see the weekly reset period, and when that comes around, you'll be able to reveal all your rewards and just claim one of them, or if they're all terrible, some trait unlock stones. I covered in this video generally what to go for. So from there we have guild bosses. If you are part of a guild, you go to Vienta village and you will enter your guild base through this building. When you're here, you're able to access the portal to fight all the guild bosses, which are exactly the same as field bosses. It's just you'll be only fighting them with your guild and they drop the same loot. But again, always somebody in your guild will get that loot. But there is a limit to only 7 per week. So make sure you keep an eye out with your guild and management of when they're doing them and partake. Then you have Archbosses, and these are like field bosses, but they only happen twice a week. One will be Tevent and the other will be Queen Belandir. You check in daily here and you can see the exact time frame on your server of when those are going to occur. Sometimes they are conflict, and that means, yeah, it's going to be a big PvP fight. If you're not going with your alliance and guild, then it may just be an absolute slaughter, and you'll never even get to touch the boss. But simply partaking in the event will again give you a chance to drop the super rare items that the boss drops by chance, but otherwise you have to get a certain amount of contribution to increase that chance. And you do have, say, the minimum participation reward, which you can claim there and which will have a chance to give you some of the best stuff as well. So just be aware of the timetable with that and try get the time to go there. Generally, it can be a lot quicker than 30 minutes if it's just a peace boss, but if it's conflict, then the boss stays there for quite some time. Then you have the Gate of Infinity, and there will generally be a new one every week. You go to your secret dungeons, Gate of Infinity, and you can partake in them, obtaining some decent rewards. You can see right here, you get the successful achievement of, say, a 3-star, and you get the straight extraction stones, conversion stones, some solent, and restoration coins. So every week there will be a new one. You can also compete in the leaderboards once you get your character decently geared up. From there you have Boonstone, Riftstone, Castle Siege event, so that's all going to be part of a guild. So you'll check here the occupation, and depending if your guild has a Boonstone and a Riftstone, you might get people attacking it, you might be trying to take over one, and these events will depend on your server, but for me it's at 5 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. Coordinate with your guild when those might happen, and they ultimately give your guild some extra benefits. All of us gain 50 extra critical hit chance and 50 evasion by owning both of these, along with resource generation and even activity points generation. So it's very valuable for guilds to have those. You then also have Castle Siege. You can check the map when that's going to happen in, say, daily. For us, it's going to be coming up on the 17th at 3 o'clock. A big event you can take part of, and there will also be tax delivery at a certain point as well, but I don't think those will be every week. I don't know the schedule for Castle Siege, but it's probably like once a month. And just have that thrown in there because that's all different guild events. And ultimately, it's not going to really help your individual achievement in this game, but it will significantly as part of a guild. And finally, there's these 5 other things you can pay attention to, but there's no rush. You can do them anytime. That's going to be cooking, exploration quests, Lithograph Book, collection codex, and Taedal's Tower. So cooking simply allows you to craft all of these great items here. Some consumables can be very useful, especially these remedies, and so you will want to level up to stock up. And also there are some very useful ones giving like mastery bonus, a bit of the contract token efficiency, solent bonus, fishing bonus, and that is another thing I actually don't have on the list is fishing. It's an activity you can do, obtain some decent rewards. I'm personally not a big fan of it, and you can get your fishing rod and level it up, and it's just a pretty chill activity you can do whenever. Just make sure you stock up on that fishing bait or you will be significantly time gated. You can then do your codex, so you can do all your exploration quests. They have multiple different rewards including Amitois and morphs, and then you can also do your collection codex. So there'll be these purple pages dotted around. Go pick them up, and they'll also give you like ornate coins which you can buy all these things with. And then there's like your Lithograph Book. It's just like a completion thing. It can give you decent rewards if you claim some items that are not really going to sell for anything. You can add them here and then claim back these eventually, and ultimately working towards completing it. But it will take a lot of time, and some of these items are super expensive, so it's not worth focusing on. But pay attention to what items you obtain, and if they're worth nothing, throw them in here. There is also the secret dungeon, Taedal's Tower. If you haven't done it all already, then be sure to work towards that, as they give some significantly good rewards here. You will also obtain every week, when you buy the contracts from this guy, the ability to repeat some of those, and they'll give you some extra rewards here. There's actually no real point re-rolling, as the rewards are pretty much all the same as far as I'm aware. It's just a lower floor boss, of course, will be easier for you. You just accept it, go to your boss, and then simply, just kill him and get your reward. And that's it. And that's ultimately the entirety to-do list for endgame activities in Throne and Liberty right now. Of course, new content will be added down the road, more things we can do, but right now this is where it's at. Every day you'll probably spend about an hour and a half doing all of these repeatable activities. Again, we didn't account any time for like dynamic events or guild contracts or donations, any of that, because I don't see those as such a big priority to do, and so it will be up to you how serious you are about the game, how serious your guild is about the game, whether you need to focus on them or not. If you're in a hardcore guild trying to get high rankings, you probably have to partake in probably 5 or 6 dynamic events, which take 20 minutes each. That's a massive amount of your time taken out. And then these other weekly activities, you can see the time adds there to probably nearly 3 hours worth. So you're looking at, again, like an hour and a half per day plus another 3 hours on the weekly stuff. So I hope this helps some of you out there. Thanks all for watching, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.